everybody, this is Rachel Atwood. For my second book presentation, I wanted to talk about, this is one of my favorite books of all time. It's called The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funk. I just read it again for our book planner, and I thought I would share it with you guys just because I love this book so much. The basic story is about two brothers, Prosper, who's about 14 years old, and Bo, who's about 6 years old, who have just moved in with their aunt and uncle after the death of their mother, and the aunt and uncle have decided that they only want to adopt the little brother Bo, and not the older brother Prosper, because they don't want to deal with raising a teenager. So rather than let themselves be separated, the brothers run away to Venice, Italy. And in Venice, they meet Riccio, Mosca, and Hornet, who are three orphans living in a abandoned theater called the Stella. And they're looked after by a older boy called Scipio, who is the Thief Lord. And as the Thief Lord, he's known for having pulled off big heists from museums and estates and just stealing antiques and gold and artwork. And then he sells all of it and brings the money back to these orphans, so that they can keep living on the streets and not have to be under control of adults and get to live how they want. When Prosper and Bo meet up with these orphans and the Thief Lord, they've just been hired by a man called the Conte, which means count in Italian, to steal a wooden white lion's wing, which the Conte claims is part of a magic carousel, which will make the rider older or younger depending on which way they ride the carousel. So while the children are all going and planning this elaborate heist, Prosper and Bo's aunt and uncle have hired a private detective named Victor to track the boys down in Venice and to bring them back home, so that they can adopt Bo. This is a modern fantasy novel. There's very little magic. It's not a high fantasy like Harry Potter or anything. Very little magic, just with the carousel. And the idea of, is the carousel actually going to work? Does it do what they say? What I love about Cornelia Funk's writing is that she is very good at making memorable characters and very, very creative with her characters, especially in the character of the Thief Lord, Scipio, and who he is and how he became the Thief Lord, and kind of his mysterious background. But she's also very good. My favorite part of this book and her writing is how she's able to create just a beautiful, magical atmosphere. Especially, she made you feel like you were actually in Venice, and I can definitely attest to that. I was lucky enough to go to Venice a couple of years ago, and then when I picked this book back up, and read it again, I felt like I was back on the streets of Venice, and just absolutely beautiful writing. Some of the themes that are focused on in the book, the idea of responsibility in adulthood versus childhood, and kind of being carefree and doing what you like. Kind of the idea, is it better to be an adult? Is it better to be a child? And what does it mean to grow up? And a lot of the idea of separation and betrayal as well is covered, especially between the brothers and them trying to stay together. Nothing in this book is offensive that I can think of. There is some mild swearing. I think they take the Lord's name in vain a couple of times. The only other thing that might be a little bit problematic is that this book was originally written in German. Cornelia Funk is from West Germany, and and when you translate from German into English, just because of the differences in the language, sometimes the English translations end up having really, really long run-on sentences and paragraphs that are maybe a bit more elaborate than they need to be. Which, if you have a reader who's um, maybe not as good at reading comprehension or doesn't have a strong reading comprehension, they might have some difficulty with it. But I've never had any problems. I've never met anybody who's had any serious problems with it. But those who do struggle with reading might have some difficulty with the longer passages. Um, I first read this book in the 7th grade. I think it would be good for anybody, probably 5th or 6th grade and up. I also really like, my copy of the book also includes some history of Venice, a small section of history of Venice in the back, as well as an interview with the author and a glossary for some of the Italian words that are used in the book. So definitely pick it up. Again, this is the cover for my copy. Try it out, let me know. Thanks, everyone.